When we're talking about networking and network management, one of the tools that we will use a lot is called OpenSSH. OpenSSH, there's two components to it. There's an SSH server, which we will use to connect to a server, and we'll be able to connect to the command line of that server, and then the SSH client, which is what we'll use to connect to OpenSSH server. So, I want to see if I have SSH installed. So I'm going to issue the command which SSHD, or which SSH daemon. And it doesn't respond to anything, which means I don't have it installed. If I do which SSH, it's going to show me that I have SSH in my user bin SSH. So that's my OpenSSH client, but not my SSH server, which is SSHD. So I'm going to do apt install OpenSSH-server. And that should install the server for me. Yes, I want to continue. Alright, so that'll download and install the server for me. I'll see my little progress running along here. And almost done. And then the other thing it will do is it should automatically start my OpenSSH server. So it should add it in, automatically start it, and make it auto start every time from this point on when the system loads. Alright, it looks like it's going to take it a second here, so I'm going to go ahead and pause and we'll pick it back up after our installation is complete. Okay, just a few seconds later our installation is complete. Now I'm going to go ahead and clear, and get over to the right screen here and clear the screen. And I want to check the status of it. So we're going to use systemctl, which is something we'll talk about more a little bit later on. So system control, status, and I want to look at SSH. That's going to show me that I had SSH, so right here, OpenBSD Secure Shell Server is OpenSSH, it's loaded, it's active and running. And tells me that it's listening on port 22, which is the default for SSH. Now I can also view or check to see if it's running using the netstat command. So netstat is going to display open ports for me. And that's actually going to give me more than I really want. So I'm going to do netstat, and there's a ton of options for these, but I'm going to use this one, TULPN. It's actually 5 options. And you can do netstat-h, and it will show you what all of them are. So we're using TULPN as our options. And this is going to show me a bunch of things that are currently active. So these are my current listening servers. Now if I want to isolate that down, I can also use grep to grep SSH, and that'll give me any lines that have SSH. And here you can see I'm listening for my OpenSSH server on both TCP/IP v4 and v6. Now if I want to connect to it, I'll use my SSH client. And so I'll just enter the command SSH, and that'll start my client, and then I'm going to put the IP address. So in this case, I'm just going to loop back, SSH 127.0.0.1, and that'll use my loopback. Now, it's going to, when I hit enter, it's going to ask me, are you sure you want to connect? Yes, I want to connect. Yes, I want to connect. And so it's asking me for root at 127.0.0.1. And so SSH automatically tries to connect me using the whatever account I'm currently logged into this system as. Tries to connect me to the next system using the same thing. There's only one problem. Permission denied. That's because my root account, we're not allowing logins. So let me do this. Let me do SSH, and I want to specify David at 127.0.0.1. So I'm going to try to log in using that user account. And so that David at that first part is which user I'm using at that particular server. So I'm going to log in as David, ABCD1234$, and there I am. I'm logged in as David. So I've now used SSH to connect to a server remotely, even though I just kind of looped it back to go to the same one. If I want to close that session, I'm going to exit, and that's going to log me out of that remote connection and take me back to my local connection. Okay, there we go. We have configured OpenSSH. Now this is really, really useful. We'll use OpenSSH a lot for remote management of Linux servers because we can do what we just did, SSH space the server name or the IP address, and we can connect to that server and manage it just like we were sitting at that console. So that really, really simplifies our life.